This video is sponsored by Gate.io. If you set an account up using the link in the description, you'll get 25% back on all your spot and futures fees for life. Gate.io. Hello everybody, welcome back. Let's have a look at crypto, Bitcoin specifically, to be honest with you, and just focusing on the Dixie. I know we like to look at the Euro and the S&P, but I do that every day, and if you watch this channel and subscribe to it, you should already know how I feel about that. And if you are new to the channel, just let me quickly tell you, I'm bullish on the Euro. I think it's going to bounce, and same with the S&P. I think it's going to bounce from here. This is all part of the major analysis that I've had since, well, early January, basically. Looking for the uptrend, looking for the pullback to this area, and now looking for the bounce. So if that's going to happen, you'd expect to see something happen on the Dixie. The opposite, basically. This Dixie chart, just turn off this noise, so we just look at the formation, just admire the formation for what it's worth. We've got a rising wedge, basically, that we've broken down out of now at this point, and we've tried to reclaim the zone, and we haven't been able to. It's been used as resistance. So now we turn on our moving averages, and what we see is closures so far every single time below the Bollinger Band on the 4-hourly. We also have a golden cross as well. In fact, down here, you'd expect to see a retest of that, given any chart really, most likely is going to happen. So if that is the case, we are looking for a bit more of a pullback on the Dixie now, to the tune of about 1%, give or take, 1%. So down here at 103.7 Dixie radio. And let's have a look at, not the weekly, but the daily. Any moving averages of any significance around that 1% pullback from where we're at right now. So we have a 50 here, we have the 21, and oh look, lovely. We've got the Bollinger Band center on the daily there, all backing up that area at 103.6 Dixie radio FM. So is there any reason to be like a permabull on this chart? I wouldn't say there is, to be honest with you. I honestly see this as something that's going to meander back further down to what, 100 or lower, really. And we've been in this channel for a while now, and again, someone told you, I can't remember who it was, about this likely to reject around here. Who was it? Okay. Yeah, it was me. I did it. I told you that. I told you. But either way, like, this channel does permit higher highs over time. Let's face it, it does. I mean, we've not broken down from it. So let's just expect to stay within this channel, okay, for what, however long? Eternity? I don't know. And it's subject to significant ups and downs. I mean, I don't know who told you about this upside on the Dixie, but someone, I can't remember. It was me. It was me. So look, it's relatively nice and easy to see in hindsight now. And, you know, we were flapping around about, you know, maybe we break out from here, and if we did, that would be catastrophic. But really, what we've done was we stayed neatly within it. And this is why we look at other charts, really, rather than the Dixie. But I suppose if you just stand back and admire the Dixie for what it's worth, it's a very neat looking chart. Either way, the only reason I'm talking about it is that I'm expecting a breakdown in the immediate term timeframes on this Dixie to the tune of about 1%. And what that would normally mean would correspond to upside in other assets that are pegged basically in dollars. So everything, since the everything bounce part 4 that I've been referring to. So Bitcoin is struggling in this center range, this 23,300 zone. We did have a wick up there yesterday, that was fine. Rejected at this exact level, which is, well, I suppose these previous peaks, without having to put lines in the chart everywhere. You can see the relevance to that level, these tops to this peak. We'll just get rid of that low because I don't want my chart to look like a zebra. But yeah, basically we're in the center of a range, and we still remain in the center of the range. If we break down from here, then we come down to have the retest of this golden cross, which is fine, very welcomed, and I would say buy the dip opportunity to the max. If we don't and we bounce from here, that's also pretty appropriate as well, because you can see on the 4-hourly and on the daily, you've got Bollinger Bands all around this area, so still more or less in favor of a bounce and further upside from here. Getting squished between the 10 exponential and the 2 and the 20. We're basically forming a descending triangle in the form of moving averages, which again favors further upside or downside depending on which way we close below on a daily, because this is daily moving averages. I favour upside, as you all know. I'm not a perma bull, but I'm bullish from everything that I see on the charts, whether it be the euro bouncing from this area, the Dixie breaking down from the formation, the S&P more or less holding above the support, or give or more holding at support right now, major support. And generally, I was having a look at stocks, and some of the major stocks like Tesla look good. I know people are looking for all this stuff to break down, but I just do not see it. Just can't see it on the charts. I'm just not seeing it. People asking me about, what about alts? What's your... Yeah, it's difficult for me to give time frames. Everybody wants to know exactly what's going on, like these charts, tarot cards. Not that obviously they offer anything really, but you know what I mean. That they offer some kind of insight into a very particular future. They don't. They help you, I suppose, assess risk to reward, right? And at the moment, I think the reward in the short term outweighs the risk. That's how it looks, and so it favours upside more than downside. And if there is any further downside, it's likely to bounce and go back up, maybe to a new high quite quickly. Just like I said that this would be a V-shaped recovery, and it was, because this is the sort of thing that we look for with a V-shaped recovery coming down to these areas. This retest of this 200 exponential is exactly where the euro is right now, doing its retest of a golden cross. So we'll be looking for a V-shaped recovery on the euro, or at least a serious bounce on the euro. So I'm looking for all of that, and it's the same old boring analysis that I provide to you on a daily basis, but this time I decided to just to show you something different, which is the Dixie, which I'm sure other channels love to look at the Dixie. I prefer to go straight to the heart of the matter with Forex, specifically Euro, because it has the biggest effect on this Dixie's chart. But we can look at the Dixie occasionally, and here you go, there's your Dixie, and it does still say further downside is required, just like a further upside is required on the euro. So again, same old analysis, just a different take on it. I'm bullish, to be fair. I'm bullish. I'm not hugely bullish. I'm not saying it's going to do millions of percent or anything like that, but as far as the short-term time frames, which I guess is something that people are probably more interested in when they watch these videos on a daily basis, short-term, I'll be looking for downside on the Dixie, upside on all other assets. So the everything bounce part 4. As for where it's going to end, which is what people are going to ask it, people ask me on my Telegram about, which you should probably think about joining. It's free. No one has it. Yeah, it's just all there. It's sometimes can be quite quiet because again the market is cyclical, as is people's conversations about markets. But yeah, all the links in the description below. We're doing a Patreon live stream as well tonight, so if you want to join the Patreon, there's links in the description below. But yeah, I mean, I get questions about, how long should I hold alts? I mean, I'm not a signals group, I don't necessarily want anyone to try and copy my trades. I just verbalize my trading strategy like I would do when I sit down every morning. This is how I make my money, you see. So I sit down and look at these charts. I might as well just talk out loud to you all and record it. If people find it insightful, fine. Remember, this is how I make my living, so I mean, it works for me. But all I'm saying is, when it comes to how long should I hold alts for, I don't know. I don't know how long this formation will be relevant. I don't know how long this trend is going to go on for. I will be able to exit trades based on certain risk criteria, and I'm not seeing it at the moment. I'm not really seeing any major risk criteria, so I'm happy to hold Bitcoin and alts for a little bit longer because it just does not feel like this is peaked at the moment. It really doesn't, nor does traditional markets. Doesn't feel like it's peaked. If anything, and I keep saying it, I feel as though we're in this kind of area. So this is your bull market beginnings of 2019. I feel as though we're in this little area here, and we're yet to have a blow off top, which would then go into a period of consolidation, and probably a boring one at that, where we think about probably sitting the market out for the most part, or just being very careful about what it is that we buy, because a more sustained downtrend would likely appear at that stage. But it doesn't feel like that at the moment. And yeah, there are certain things that you could look at, which is the bearish divergence on the daily. You've got this drive here, another drive here, another drive here, with higher highs. So there is that. There definitely is that. But when you think about that versus the golden cross and the weekly being the more important, and the weekly basically is not overheated at all. And if we reclaim this 25,000, which again is still a little bit further away from where we're at right now, once that's reclaimed, then yeah, we see the powerhouse move, which leads into the blow off top, not of the absolute high, but the equivalent of when we reached 14,000 in 2019. And then we consolidate from there. So I would be looking for something like this. I'm not saying we're going to go to 38, but at some point over the next couple of months, and then we consolidate throughout the summer to find a place where we can basically start to move into the halving, which would be, from my understanding, next year. Right, I'll leave with you there. To pump the algorithm, today we're going to talk about fashion. What clothes do you like to buy the best? I'll tell you what I see. It's not that I think they're the best. I just seem to buy a lot of it. Superdry. I wear loads of Superdry. Right. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a nice day. Oh, and Primark. Come on, let's face it. Yeah, take it easy.